Hello friends, welcome to my channel Tech Developer. In this video, we will continue towards our REST API development which we were doing in our last second video. In last video, I have shown you how you can configure the Spring Data JPA with the Postgres database so that your APIs can be used to perform some operation like creating the object or getting that object or some other operations whichever you want between your entities using your REST APIs. So in this video I will continue towards that REST API development. As you have already seen that I was working on creating the REST APIs for a skill controller. So let's complete that part. That in that part I had missing the post mapping. So let's add the post mapping to the API controller. And after that, let's move on to the create skill implementation. That need to be returned. So instead of returning here, I can return the same thing here. I am returning the response DTO here, and for that we need the skill DTO. So I need to create an object of skill DTO outside the try and catch block so that I can use that. So skill DTO will be equals to this. So now you can see that our API is ready to complete, as we can test this API either it is working fine or not. So in the skill controller API, where it is giving an error, okay, so it is giving an error of extra semicolon was added. Okay, so you can see that in skill controller we have just created a method for that and give the post mapping, and we have provided the request body to it, and after that we have called the skill service method for create skill, and in that I have created the skill object and taken the skill DTO for the return type, and I have created the skill of entity using the form data and trying to save that using the skill repository, and we have created the skill DTO for returning that object with some data as a view, and after I am finally returning the object of response GTO using the response util which we have prepared in our last few videos. Okay, so after this you can see that I am not handling the exception here. I am just giving the print stack. So in our next video I will explain you about the exception handling in a brief. So instead of concentrating on the exception handling part of this API, we are trying to concentrate only on just simple way to create the API development, means the REST API development. So for that, now we are able to check this API using the Postman. So before going to run this API and test it, I need to inform you that in our last video, we have created the response util, and that response util I have created the scope of type prototype, means every time whenever I create the new, only then the object will be available to me. But what happened in this prototype scope name, it will create a new object every time when you request it. So it is not a singleton object. So what actually happens sometime, that in prototype scope name, if you are trying to auto wire your spring bean, which is the singleton, you will not be able to auto wire it because it cannot find that from where it need to be auto wired because it is the new object for the Spring framework. So for this, we need to create a, a class which will implement the application context aware, because whatever the bean you are creating using the singleton, we can take that bean from the application context. So let's create a configuration first. So create a config, and in this create a class name string context, and let mark it as a component as it is a string component, and implement the application context aware, and just override the method of it, add an unimplemented method. It will provide us the application context, and let's take a private static application context, and I will assign this application context to our static application context of this class. Application context of this equals to this application context, and we have now the application context in our Spring context bean. So we can create a method for that so that we can easily get the bean from the application context anywhere wherever we want to take. So you can create a static method instead of having the non-static, because using the static way we can access the method directly without any object creation. So return the object and give the method name as a get bean, and provide the type of the class required type class, and in which we will return the application context that we have dot get bean method. It is a predefined method where we have to provide the class type for which we are want to get the bean. So the required class type will be passed here, and it will return, and it is showing some warning. Let's add a surpass warning over this thing, and it will remove the warning from here. You do not need to be worry about that warning. And after that, let's move to the response util, and instead of auto wiring it here, what you can do is using the string context dot get bean message service, because we need the bean for the message service here, and typecast it to the message service. And now we can continue towards our API based testing for the skill API that we have created. You will not face any error now. Maybe it will not be able to understand that why I am using this concept here, because what actually happened that if you are providing the thing as a prototype here, the prototype here, then it means a normal bean. not the string bean, because and in that we want to take the object from the string bean. So you can say in a simple another way that if you want to access the string bean object in your non-string class, still you can use the same thing that I have showed you about the string context, because I am getting that object from the application context aware. So you can get that object easily. Let's run this application and start testing that while the application is running or not. So right click on it, click on Spring Boot app. It will run the application. Just give the time to it. So now the application is been started. Let's test the API. Let's create a new request here, and the request type will be post. The URL will be HTTP localhost. The port will be 8080 slash API slash v1, the base path. Then the skills, because it is our path for the skill controller API. And in body, just go to the raw and create a JSON here. And in the body, what we have in a body, let's check. So in the skill controller, we will go, and skill form, the name is required. So key always must be the same, so that you do not have any problem in binding the data from the uh, form to the your REST APIs. So the key will be the name and the value will be Java 8. So now we will hit and send the request, and let's check what it returns. So as you can see, it is returning the result very perfectly. In the data part, I am getting the ID and the name, means the skill ID is 1 and skill name is Java 8. The API response is success. HTTP status is 201, that is the created, and now the message is having the skill add success and error code here. So we know that the error code should not be come. So what we need to do is there is some missing, some misconfiguration done here, guys. Let me check. So in the response util, and I'm using a generate validation method. So sorry for that, guys. Uh, by mistake, I have taken the generate validation message here instead of generate the service validation message. Sorry, service message. Generate service message, and this will be the same. Let's do this, and instead of this error code, the error code part will be only come if the success is false. If it is not success, only then I will provide the error message here. So let's save it, and now check it again. As you can see, we are having the message successfully, that skill is added successfully. Let me show you that from where the message is coming. As you remember in our last some videos, we have created service message underscore en dot properties, in which we have provided the key and the value. The key was the skill dot add dot success, and the message is skill is added successfully. So let me explain you that in the return type of the response from the service implementation, I have passed the key, means the skill created successfully. The key is skill.add.success. It is going to the response util. In the response util, I am having that message here, and I am saying the message should be read from the message service using the generate service message. So the generate service message implementation is saying that I need to provide him the message code I want to pass for the message code which is related to the service message, and the service message bean is saying the message source configuration. Let's check the message source configuration. As you can see here in the message source configuration, I have a bean named service message which is locating the service message properties file for the locale and looking for that message code in that property file. So you can see the skill.add.success is available in this service message properties file, and the and getting the message from this key, and that is the value, that is skill is added successfully. That's why we are having the skill is added successfully message here. As shown earlier, it was showing the code. So what was that? Actually, you know that by mistake I was taking generate validation message method, so which was looking as per configuration, it was looking into the validation message properties file. So inside the validation message property file, no key was available for skill.add success. So if we check to our configuration, we are saying that use the code as a default message. It will only be work if you do not have any key inside your properties file or a message inside that. It will technically return the key which you have provided to him. So I hope it will be clear to you, and if it not clear, I will explain you more deeply in our next video. Otherwise, you can comment me out in the comment section so that I can create another video to explain it properly. So one more thing, guys, we need to change this validation message source because it is having some confusion. Like it will be the same name. So let's change it as from validation message to service message source, because it is service message source which is configuring with the service message properties. Now it is fine. Just save it and let's retest the API. The API is working fine. There is no change. We have just changed the object name. Now you can see that the API is success, but still it is returning as the error code null. Means if we come towards the response GTO, in the response GTO we have all the fields. So if we do not want that the null field should be returned, means the fields which have the null value should not be written into the JSON, then for that you need to do is just add the use the annotation add the JSON include, and in that value would be non null. So if I will add that annotation to our class, what it will do, it will just remove those fields from our JSON which have the value null. So let's retest it and check if the error code is returning inside this response or not. So as you can see, we are not having returning the error code is field because its value was null, as because the success response was true. So what you need to do is uh, you can say that if you ever wanted to ignore the null values field inside the JSON, then use that JSON include annotation by providing the value include non-null. So after that, one more thing I need to help you to clear, which I have not informed you yet, that you can see in the service class we have the skill service. on every interface method which is related to saving or updating the data inside the table. For that, basically, we need the transaction management. So, for having the transaction management, automatically using the string data JPA annotation, what you need to do is you need to add the rate uh, transactional and exception rollback for will be the exception dot class, means if any of the exception come, it will roll back the API. So we are creating the skill API. So for that we need the transaction to be managed. So for that we have just added the annotation at the transactional here. And similarly for update skill and for the delete skill, we will add this at the transactional. So just save that thing and it will help in transaction management. And one more annotation you need to add if you want to enable the transaction for the JPA is inside your main class. You need to use the annotation at the rate enable transaction management. See guys, without enabling the transactional management, the add the rate transactional will not work. So always remember to use at the rate enable transaction management. So thank you for watching this video guys. Hope the API development is helping you a lot. I know that it was some difficult in one video to explain each and everything. So I will try to explain you again in the another API which we will create for the skill controller, and I will also inform you about some validation performance, means how validation can be performed using the Spring Boot application in your REST APIs. So thank you for watching the video guys. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon. If you like this video, please share this video with your friends and please do comments in your comment section. Thank you for watching this video guys. Bye for now.